You're watching Plumbing Explained. This is Chris, and today we're going to be looking into who makes the best half-inch close quarters tubing cutter, starting out with Ridgid. So this Ridgid close quarters actually does half-inch and 3/4. It's at a price point, I believe, about $35, which is a little bit higher than most other half-inch tubing cutters in its class. But to me, the versatility of having a half-inch and 3/4 and 2-in-1 is pretty awesome. You never have to worry about not having one or the other on the job site, and the little transforming mechanism that turns it from half-inch to 3/4 is pretty cool. It doesn't seem like it's going to go bad over time. It's not spring-loaded or anything like that. So this has taken 9 turns. Why did it take 9 turns? Because it cuts both half-inch and 3/4, so you're cutting double the pipe with the same tubing cutter. Next is the half-inch Raptor, and for the price, you just can't beat this thing. It's the most durable, without a doubt. And look at this, 3 turns and it cuts right through that pipe like butter. And I use this thing probably the most. It's one of my favorite tubing cutters. Speaking of my favorite half-inch tubing cutters, let me introduce to you the Milwaukees. These used to be my favorite. 2 years ago when I first purchased these and found out about these, before my first kit was stolen, these were awesome. Now, you get maybe 2 or 3 cuts out of them and the spring stops working. What's going on, Milwaukee? Next up, we've got the half-inch auto cutters by General Pipe Cleaners. I consider these the grandfather of close quarters cutters. These were the first ones I saw on my dad's tool bag back in the early 2000s. Now, I've probably used these the least, and they still took 5 turns to cut this Type L copper. They're a little bit more expensive than the Raptors, so I would highly suggest instead of getting these, you pick up a set of Raptors. Now I want to show you guys the difference in thickness on these tubing cutters. Because if you're a service plumber or a service and repairman that does plumbing, you know every little millimeter counts when it comes to the girth of these auto tubing cutters, especially if you're dealing with manifold style plumbing like we do here in Southern California. So I pulled out a bunch of different tubing cutters here off of my solder kit to show you the different styles of tubing cutters. This is a tubing cutter you would use outside somewhere to cut like long lengths of pipe. You wouldn't be using that in a wall anywhere, obviously. This tubing cutter right here is without a doubt the best in its class. It's auto adjusting. You can adjust it with one hand. The spring is heavy duty. I mean, you can feel it. Before my truck was stolen, I had all Ridgid tubing cutters, and of course they're a little bit more expensive than say the Milwaukees. So I went with Milwaukee and I regretted it big time, and now I'm back buying Ridgid tubing cutters. This Milwaukee kit is very enticing. You can find it on sale sometimes for $50, which is a pretty good deal. That breaks down to about the same price as the Raptors per cutter. The problem is these cutters do not hold up. And if you don't have a Milwaukee rep near you to help you out, you're not going to be happy. I thankfully have a good relationship with Milwaukee. The girl and the dude that work around at the Home Depot around me know me now. And anytime I walk in with my Milwaukee tubing cutters, they just tell me to go grab a new one and I exchange them out. I've been through 5 kits in the last 6 months. Absolutely ridiculous. Milwaukee needs to get it together. 2 years ago, that same kit was bulletproof. I used to leave those tubing cutters in buckets with half water still in them. I mean, I treated them like crap. I spray them down now. Every new kit I get, I spray down with WD-40, hoping it'll last. This kit has lasted, I think, 4 cuts, but the previous 4 kits lasted like 3 cuts each. The 1-inch would break after the first cut. The 3/4, I'd get 2 cuts. And the half-inch, I'd get like 3, sometimes 4 cuts. So I won't be surprised if this one breaks soon. But hopefully, maybe I hit the lottery with this one. But that's essentially why I have so many different tubing cutters from different brands, and it's because Milwaukee failed me so often, and you have no idea how frustrating it is to be. Well, maybe you do have an idea. If you've ever been in the field and had one of your tubing cutters go bad and it's the only one you have that size on the truck, let me know down in the comments, because that can be very frustrating. It usually happens to you at 6 o'clock on a Friday afternoon. As you can see here, I'm trying to demonstrate the thickness of these tubing cutters, and that Milwaukee is the slimmest of them all. And that was what I love so much about it, how slim that Milwaukee is. Look at it compared to the Ridgid. Although that Ridgid is more on par with the 3/4 because it is a 3/4 by 1/2 inch tubing cutter. It's the same size as most 3/4 tubing cutters. It would have been really cool if Ridgid was able to get that thing slimmer than any of the other 3/4. Because like I said, again, doing manifold plumbing, you know, it requires really tight spaces sometimes. Sometimes you have to break out the hacksaw or the tiny Tim or whatever you use. So I've got them stacked here from slimmest to thickest. Slimmest is Milwaukee. Second slimmest would be the the Auto Cutter by General Pipe Cleaners. And then the thickest of the 1/2 inch, the true 1/2 inch onlys, would be the Raptors. So that's it for this 1/2 inch close quarters tubing cutter video. We got the 3/4 coming up next. We've got a few more different brands in the 3/4 one, like some Amazon brands, the Harbor Freight brand, and Lennox. And if you want to help us make more videos like this, you can Cash App us at #PlumbingExplained. I hope you guys subscribe. If you're not subscribed, leave a like on the video, share with your friends and coworkers, and until the next video, guys, take care.